Hello, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another impromptu stream on the V1 Simulations channel. What's going on, guys? Shout out Dougal McTavish. What's going on, man? Just see you popping in the chat. Captain Tom, Cell Blaster, Liam, Anthony Anderson, Jackson Mata, good to see you. Hannah Bag, good to see you as well. Silver Fox, Aileron, Michael Bogna. Guys, awesome. Good to see you here. Yes, 2 days in a row with the streaming because I saw that the Hurricane got upgraded to Cat 2, and I was like, hey, man, it's about to hit New Orleans. Maybe we should do a quick flight from Austin into New Orleans and see how the weather pans out here with the real-world weather. Now, it's interesting because I loaded up this flight earlier in in Austin, and the clouds were, and the lightning was hitting Austin, and now it seems to have moved off. But as you look towards where we're going, it looks pretty dark out there. So it should make for an interesting flight nonetheless. It's a short flight. It's only 300 something miles, so we'll have some time to play around. I didn't go on the network because I wanted to be able to, if we paint some solid reds or maybe some nice magenta there on the radar, we're gonna do a little heading mode and go right into it and see how the airplane reacts. So this is gonna be just kind of a fun stream. Yeah, so I hope you guys are ready for it. As remarks to the 1080p, I know I said I would try it. Man, I'm looking at my streaming right now through OBS, and it's showing 0 frame drop. I just really hate to tinker with it now that I've got it running completely smooth. But I do know I need to attempt to go to 1080p. I don't even know if that would affect the frame drop, but I don't know. I'll have to play with it. I just got to work up the courage. I wanted to at least get something out for you guys today. So here we are in a Spirit A320 Neo. Let's get this thing started. That's the, yeah, getting all tongue-tied already. That's never a good sign. So Jackson Mata says, love the streams 2 days in a row. Awesome, man. Yeah, glad you guys appreciate it. Cole Shepard says you should do a flight into Seattle. Maybe on the next stream, man, when we go back to X-Plane. We'll probably be hitting back in the X-Plane here very soon, going up to Seattle. So Captain Tom says the storm is going to be fun. Can't wait to go outside during it. Oh, my gosh, you guys are ridiculous. All right, let's hop into the cockpit here. We know the routine. We're going to go right up to the overhead, get our battery switches on, 1 and 2, and immediately we're going to go ahead and turn on external power. And then I'm going to kind of I'm skipping through my flows here a little bit out of order. Getting the ADIRs to align mode. We'll leave the fuel tank pumps off for now, leave the APU off, and we'll leave the seatbelt sign off as well. We'll just be sitting here on ground power for a second. I want to connect the jet bridge. We've got to talk to ground, and we got to get our bags and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get that hooked up here. First things first, we need a jetway connection.
Austin Ground Spirit Twins 113, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
I challenge any real-world pilot out there to call Austin Ground and ask them to connect the jetway and ground power and baggage service. See what kind of response you get. Better yet, do it in LaGuardia, see what happens.
Spirit Twins 113, could you please
but hey,
send
it is what it is. Andy H says, V1 2 days in a row, awesome. Glad you guys enjoy it, man. Thought it'd be fun. Jeremy Harvey, what's going on, brother? He says, hey, I'm going to do another version of the V1 theme music for the 20K sub celebration. Jeremy Harvey, my man, you are fantastic, man. That old Concorde, I don't know, man. You have yet to let me down, but every piece of music you put out, it seems to top the last piece that you put out. You set the bar extremely high when we did that Euro Tour Concorde music. My goodness, that I might have to play that again just for what do you call it when we're looking back? Nostalgia. Yes. Anderson C, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. James Z, have you tried the Thrustmaster TCA Side Stick Airbus Edition? I have not tried the Side Stick. I am not really interested in doing the side stick. I really love my HOTAS Warthog, especially for emulating the feel of an Airbus side stick. Now, one thing I am interested in is the throttle quadrant. I've been starting to see those kind of pop around on the YouTubes, people reviewing them. Looks pretty interesting to me. I am also looking at that Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant, and it looks really good. It is a little bit pricey, but you know, I only have so much room on my desk. I can't. If I had all unlimited room, I'd love to get, you know, the throttle quadrants, the Airbus side stick, the Airbus throttle, my sake, you know, I'd get it all. But limited space, so you got to work with what you got. So it should be interesting, though. Team Vodka says, Spirit, the flight must have been scheduled to depart at 9:10. Hey, man, yeah, that sounds about right. We're delayed about 3 hours here. Got the baggage car driving off with bags on it, so it should be good to go. Commander Gnar, what's going on, man? Good day to you, sir. Salute. All right. That seems to be working outside. Let's go ahead and get everything turned on in here. You know, it is kind of a shame that we can't really fuel the airplane. I really think it would be neat. And you know, you can do it in X-Plane, so X-Plane's got it, of course. But being able to get in the airplane and, you know, set your fuel to like 2,000 and have to sit through real-time fueling. You know, those hardcore simmers that really want to sit through, you know, what does it take to actually get off the gate, you know, having to wait for a fueling to be completed and stuff that's always kind of fun. Well, I wouldn't say fun, maybe that's the wrong word. There's our doors closing. Cruise flight level, I don't even know what flight level we're going to go at. It's a short flight, westbound. We're going to make it 240. Iris, NIT, we're going to confirm the alignment. And align on ref, yes sir. Alright, so our flight plan, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to do any directs because I don't want to screw up our flight plan like last time. So we're just going to let it roll, and we'll load in the approach when we get there and see what happens. But for some reason we had a weird flight plan bug on that last flight. So IRS and NIT, 50 and 21.7 block fuel. It actually has to do it 7.0 on the KG. Can you guys confirm for me that I cannot change this to pounds and have pound readouts in this airplane? I know in the settings I can do it, but it's just for loading the airplane. It's not for actually flying the airplane around with pounds. Can somebody confirm or deny that in the chat for me? Much appreciated. Thank you. So we've got our NIT fuel. So we're going to throw our diff rip or a modified diff rip for FS 2020. It's kind of like a DR. But anyway, so that's I. And our prog page, this we can't do anything here. Perf data page, we got our speeds. We're going to do a flaps 1. We'll do a Toga takeoff out of here as well. So we'll re-update that once the aircraft gets started. Which is, again, not realistic, but that's what we got to do. I hear those fuel tank pumps turn on. Very slight, I could hear them. That was pretty cool, though. All right, so fuel tank pumps are on. APU master switch, we're going to start the APU. We'll get those on in auto. Arm that. Cruise supply oxygen is on. Ground control push button would be on. We're still waiting for the ADIRs to align. In op. Okay. So one little fun fact here, this PA on the third radio panel in the real airplane, we keep the third radio panel PA out and on. And the reason for that is if there's an incident on the aircraft and they need to get to the CVR or the black box, all the passenger announcements will be recorded on the CVR. So just a little fun fact up there that we would normally turn that on. Let's go ahead and fire up the APU. I'll listen to it crank up here. I'm going to crank up my volume here. Dean Michaels, what's going on? He says, hello, V1. Hope all is well with you and your family and new home. Yes, sir. Thank you for asking, man. The little one is off with her mom right now to the doctor. She's actually going for another sonogram today, so on our second child. Expecting that. This is eastbound, Team Vodka. East is odd, right? So I should have made a different altitude. 250. That's my bad. Do you think we can do earlier streams? I do earlier streams sometimes. I normally will stream in that 10 a.m. window lately, and then if it doesn't work, I'll go to the evening window, but I'm kind of playing with fire here, coming to that 1:30, 2 o'clock window. I prefer streaming in the afternoon because that's when the baby's awake, everybody's awake, and I can be louder. Not a big deal, but I do try to mix it up. How quiet is the Airbus fuel pump? Very, very, very quiet. You might be able to hear it in a 319 if it's dead silent. 321, of course, you know, you're sitting further from the wing, so it's pretty hard. You don't really. It's not like the 737. I know the 737's got a very distinct fuel pump sound when they turn those on. It's not that loud. The newest dev version released fixes the McDo waypoint times. That is awesome. So probably after this stream, well, I know there's a 2020 update coming out soon, right? So after the update, hopefully the dev mode will be still working, and then I'll re-update to the latest and greatest fly-by-wire mod. Victor's Epic Gaming says you fly Spirit. Awesome, man. Good deal. Alright, APU is alive. APU bleed can come on. We no longer need the external power. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Let's go ahead and set our rest of our stuff here. Now, will it totally screw up the box if I change the cruise altitude? Can this handle 250? Cool deal. We'll do 250. And we are going to go 250. Flight level 250, 1 FD2. We should probably get the current ATIS as well. Just so we can see what's going on here.
Austin Airport information Whiskey 18000 Zulu. Climb tree 1 tree at 20. Visibility tree. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,100 feet. Few clouds at 4,800 feet. Few clouds at 12,000 feet. Temperature 8. 2.10.
Pretty interesting that it's a standard, almost a standard barrow there.
Austin ground Spirit Wings 1-1 tree ready to copy IFR clearance to New
1-1 tree
Orleans.
ready to copy.
Spirit Wings 1-1 tree is cleared to New Orleans Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree 5 left climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is ONE20.875, squawk tree 564.
Alright. I don't really... Oh, 2875.
Spirit Wings 1-1 tree cleared to New Orleans Airport is filed. Takeoff runway
I don't
tree
think I'm
5
going to
left
use this
flying and
ATC,
maintain
but I just
8,000
wanted to
feet.
at least get a clearance.
Departure on ONE20.875, squawk
And
tree
we'll get ready to
564.
push back here. We're going to disconnect everybody. We'll get the beacon
Spirit
light
Wings
on.
1-1 tree, read back correct. Contact ground on ONE21.9er.
Ryder, that's the last time we're going to talk to you. It just makes me feel better when I pick up our clearance, even though we don't do any ATC. Let's go ahead and jetway disconnection.
Austin ground Spirit Wings 1-1 tree. Could
Can you
please
play on VATSIM,
disconnect
please?
the jetway
I
from
will.
the
I got to get my
aircraft?
VATSIM working for FS 2020. I only got it working for X-Plane on X-Pilot, and I don't know. I haven't even really looked into VATSIM. I know it works for FS 2020. I just got to see if it's the same thing or not with X-Pilot, or if I got to do some crazy stuff. You may see me on Pilot Edge in FS 2020 before we do VATSIM. All right. Request pushback. This ought to be
Austin
interesting.
ground Spirit Wings 1-1 tree requesting pushback.
Spirit Wings 1-1 tree, pushback request accepted.
Can you go through the go-around procedure in A320? I've got a couple of videos. Look at the check ride videos on my channel, man, where I do go-rounds textbook. But real briefly, a go-around procedure, you're going to go, somebody's going to say, whoever's going around, whoever's pilot flying, is say, go around flaps. At that time, you retract the flaps one step. So if you're at flaps full, you're going to go to flaps 3. Positive rate of climb, gear up, disarm the speed brakes. Once you reach that F speed, you're going to go from flaps 3 all the way to flaps 1. And then you're just going to continue climbing out away from the ground. If you were at flaps 2, you're going to go to flaps 1. But it's going to go around flaps. You go up one step, and then at your F speed, I guess we're pushing back with the brake on. That's always fun. And then that should be it. Then it's just a normal takeoff from there. Can you do a stream where you fly with real world procedures and Pilot Edge? That would be super cool. Yeah, absolutely, man. I've done a couple of them on X-Plane, but I do, I mean, it's hard. I will say I will do that definitely again, but it'll probably have to be on X-Plane until we can really get this airplane, you know, a little bit more functional. It's going to be hard to just emulate full-blown real-world procedures, so. But I definitely will. I've got quite a few streams where we do, you know, going back to work streams and things like that, where I'm trying to get myself back in the grind to go by the book.
1-1 tree request to end. Pushback received.
All right, brakes are set. We are clear to start. Here we go. We got bleed pressure. Let's fire up engine numero 1. This is the fly-by-wire mod. That is correct, but it is not the most current dev version. I think on one of the stable versions or an older dev version. would you consider Spirit and Ryanair brothers? I don't really know anything about Ryanair, man. So I honestly, it's kind of our. I don't know. I guess Ryanair is a low-cost carrier in Europe. Spirit's a low-cost carrier, an ultra-low-cost carrier here in the States. So I guess you could say that they have the same business model, but I really don't know much about Ryanair, man. That startup was so fast. Will a go-around be on manual, or is there an autopilot route you can activate, like a SID or something, that will link up to a new approach? So a go-around, if you're on an instrument approach, listen to that APU, I'm sorry, PTU. If you're on an instrument approach, there is always going to be a missed approach segment that you will fly. So it could just be, fly straight out, enter the hold over X fix, or it could have, fly straight out until reaching this DME, then a right turn. And in the real Airbus, that will all be depicted here on your ND, and you can just activate the autopilot. You can do a go around in autopilot as well. You don't even have to disconnect. So we're going to fire up both engines here on the ground. Let's go ahead and start engine 2. Do it from inside view here. Maybe out front. See the blades spin up. What about LOT? I know nothing about LOT, sorry. As a UK citizen, I just know that Spirit is the flying banana. Yes, sir. I gotta hand it to a man, the yellow livery. So here's my thing. I love looking at airplanes. I love looking at liveries. I get so tired of seeing white airplanes. It's just so boring to me. So I gotta give them credit for doing the yellow, make it pop. When I first started seeing them, I'll be honest, I wasn't really a fan. But when you pull up to a terminal and you see like 10 or 15 Spirit planes all yellow, it's some free advertising there. I mean, it catches your eye. Kind of like how Southwest, they got that brighter blue now, and it kind of pops with the colorful tails. What's another livery I like? I actually liked the Spirit grayscale livery when they had that back in the day. That actually looked kind of cool. I think Frontier, it's white, but they got something kind of cool, with the animals on the tail, but it's still, I don't know. I think my favorite livery might be, what's that one in Europe? It's kind of yellow and gray. We flew it when we were on the Euro tour. I can't remember what it was, but it was great. I really like that livery. All right, flaps coming to 1. Engine 2 is started. APU bleed can come off. APU bleed is off. We're going to taxi to runway 35 left. I'm not sure what runway she gave us, but we're going to go to 35 left. So, brakes release. Taxi light can come on. And let's get out of here. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. My rudder pedals are not working. Brakes! Oh boy. Why are my rudder pedals not working here? They're on. Yoke is working. Why are my rudder pedals not working here? What is going on? Right, a throttle, Warthog, Alpha flight controls. Okay, great. Are you telling me we have no rudder pedals? We have no rudder pedals. Stand by. Okay, new device detected. Keep defaults. Resume. Brakes, right? Hold on. Our axes are... Okay, so that's going to be interesting. Alright, well, we'll figure that out later. We won't use brakes. How's that? At least we got some rudder control now. Oh, man. Never a dull moment with FS 2020. Let's get out of here, guys. In-op, in-op. I need in-ops in chat, guys. Rudder pedals in-op. It looks like whenever I press a brake pedal, they both go down and then they stay down. So that's going to be interesting, considering my brake pedals are all jacked up already. Really struggling to move forward here. Ground friction is killing me. We're moving. Oh boy. I see somebody taxiing down there. So we got to find the runway. I think it's over there. It'd be nice to have a taxi chart. I'm pretty sure that's 35 left over yonder. What is that? Come on, baby, turn. Turn, baby, turn. We'll figure it out in the air. Yeah, that'll be good on the CVR. Excuse me, sir. It appears that your rudder pedals were not working prior to takeoff. Did you even do a flight control check? Speaking of, let's go ahead and do flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. They seem to be working now. We got to make a left turn here. All the way down to 35 left. All right, auto brakes max. Takeoff config check. Ding the flight attendants. We're going to leave the radar off. Torpedo goes to auto. That should be on. Don't mind me swerving all over the taxiway. Just how we do it here at Spirit Airlines. Another Gene says your whole day has been in-op. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully we can make this stream, make your day a little bit better with this stream. Don't hit anybody at the runway or take off like Southwest. Oh, jeez, stop. Oh, Tom. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to stay in the cockpit here. I really need multi-cruise so I can just look around at engine views while taxiing. This is probably the most boring part to flight simulation for me, is taxiing. Because I want to see the wing views, I want to see the exterior views. You know, we could cheat with the exterior view. There we go. Who wants to sit in the cockpit while taxiing? Let's go for yoga. Sergios, you're right, we do need to go for yoga. So we need to quickly adjust our V-speeds here. And it says flex of 20, but we're not worried about that. We're just going to leave it. And we need to redo the cabin check. There we go.
Cabin proceeds for takeoff.
There's Sol for takeoff. Thank you, sir. You taxi pretty fast? Hey, man. Got to get where you're going. You can go up to, depends on the airline, but 30 knots is where they start to raise eyebrows. So one of the techniques that Airbus recommends for taxiing to keep the brakes cool, because you do not want to ride the brakes. The real airplane at idle thrust will actually get away from you, especially if you're light. So you'll have a habit, or you don't want to develop a habit of riding the brake pedals, because then by the time you get to the runway, your brakes are going to be over 300 C and you can't take off. So Airbus recommends that you actually let the aircraft accelerate to about 30 knots, as long as you're on a nice straight taxiway. Gently apply brake pressure, bring the aircraft speed down to about 5 knots, and then release the brakes and continue taxiing. As a passenger, you may be able to feel that. Maybe you'll notice that on your next time out. But that's another benefit to single-engine taxiing, is because you don't want to be burning up the brakes. So if you have a single-engine taxi, it's you don't have the tendency to ride the brakes. I know Las Vegas taxiing downhill in the summertime with a heavy airplane. Whew. you'll cook those brakes, man. You'll cook them. So you really got to be careful. Limitation for takeoff is 300 degrees Celsius, and the brake fans must be off. Which this aircraft is not equipped with brake fans over here, as I look. Interesting. And this is another interesting thing. Should this be in the down position? Am I losing my mind? I know it says off. I'm gonna have to. I haven't been in a real cockpit in over a month, so this is interesting. For some reason, I feel like that should be down, and then up is off, and I don't know. Maybe one of you guys will know in the chat. All right, here we go. Here is 3-5 left. The ground handling definitely is going to need to be worked on this airplane. All right, finals clear. Let's light them up. Get ready for
Subscriber
takeoff.
ahead. Look up.
Thank you for the subscribe there, Duffman. Appreciate it, dude. Nice and calm here in Austin. I'm hoping that will not continue. I like how we have blue taxiway lights here on the runway. That's pretty cool too. 3-5 left. Line them up. Terrible lineup. All right, nose forward on the stick. Spool them up to 50%. Yoga. All right, back inside. Here we go. 80 knots, thrust set. Neutralize that stick pressure right around 100 knots. P1, rotate. We are light today. Wow, that was a quick takeoff roll. Positive rate, gear up.
Air Twings 113, you are not cleared to take off.
Yep, I'm aware. And off we go. See you later, Austin. Beautiful airport. I love Austin Airport. It's actually a really nice airport. That's a cool shot, though, man. Probably not even on the departure. All right, lever climb. Positive trend in airspeed. I see a positive trend in airspeed. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the climb detent. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Let's get back on the departure. Flight director is pretty wonky in FS 2020. Flaps 0. And we'll go autopilot 1 because I want to look around here for a minute. So we're going to go disarm the spoilers. Back to our wing view here as the airplane climbing out. Gosh, I love this view. Kept up to single pilot deviation. Where are we going? Where we're going, we don't need clearance. You got that right, man. We are going to Hurricane Zeta. That is where we are going. Really need that flyby view. Downtown Austin. Look at that. I know if I let the screen settle on one image, it clears up a little bit for you, so I try not to move it too much. But that's actually a pre-downloaded at high. I pre-downloaded Austin at high. Cache that scenery. Blame the bourbon. That's right, man. Flying Guitar Sam, what's up, brother? He said, glad to see it's not just me that has the thrust spool back like it did momentarily before you threw autopilot on. Yeah, so I don't know why it's doing that. It seems to want to slow down when you get to that flap speed, which the real airplane it doesn't do that. It actually wants to go all the way to 250, even with the flaps extended. So you got to be careful that you don't overspeed the flaps. And with this airplane, it seems to like want to keep you at that S speed there until you retract the flaps, which not 100% realistic. Maybe something can be tweaked in the future. I think we're at 10,000 feet by now. I'll have to turn those lights off. Niels Christensen, welcome back to Commercial Pilot, man. Welcome on board. VATSIM does not work on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. You need the vPilot plugin. I will look into that, man. The vPilot plugin. I wonder if it's similar to the xPilot. So this long bank that we're in here is kind of scaring me. Let me just make sure everything is kosher. It seems to be pretty kosher. We'll go ahead and turn off our landing taxi lights. That light can stay on, so these can come off. The light can come off. Ding the flight attendants, let them know we're at 10,000 feet. Accelerating at 320 knots. Let's throw on the radar, just see if we can pick anything up out there. Interesting. It's a lot of red, but I think that's just ground clutter. So there is definitely some stuff out there. I hope you guys got your seatbelts on, because this is going to be fun. What is your frames per minute? How do I check in FS 2020? I don't even know, man. Jimmy Olsen coming in with a $5 bomb, dude. Thank you so much for your support. He says, you were not cleared for takeoff. Yep, I'm aware. I'm about to spit my soda on my monitor. Jimmy Olsen, thank you so much for your support, man. Yeah, that is something that you do not want to do in real life. Obviously, it's something I would never do, hopefully. I haven't done it in my career yet, knock on wood. But I have had nightmares of that. When I was flying corporate jets single pilot, I actually had nightmares that I would just taxi out to the runway without ever talking to anybody and taking off. Because a lot of times when you're flying corporate, you're going into these small little podunk airports that don't have any control towers. It's all CTAF, right? And I just had this fear that one day I'd be at a controlled tower and I would just taxi out. And now I've known people that's happened to. I actually had a buddy of mine who did that. He taxied out to the runway and he called tower. He said, hey, we're ready for a departure. And tower came back and just said, yeah, normally they call ground first to get a taxi clearance, but you can go ahead and line up and wait. And he just, he actually got a violation in his file because he taxied out, didn't talk to anybody. It's just one of those things, man. When you're single pilot in that environment, when you got passengers in the back, you're flying a pretty heavy workload airplane, it can happen. It can happen, especially as you get complacent and more comfortable with things. So, yeah, we definitely wouldn't want to do that in real life. Of course, in the Airbus, you got two people up there. It's a lot more, we're slower and more restrictive. We'll probably be back to X-Plane 11 in the Airbus, probably the 321 in the next stream, where we'll slow it down. We'll go back to by the book stuff. We'll go back to our checklist. We'll go back to, flow patterns. I'll explain a little bit more, because I know we've picked up a lot of new viewers, a lot of new subscribers that have kind of missed all that. So it's always good to refresh, and it's good for me to keep that fresh, since I'm not flying right now anyway. So I do need to get back into that. We're going to slow it down. We'll get back to our methodical steps through the flight. But look at this. You can kind of see that frontal boundary. Check this out. This is pretty cool here. So this is obviously some outer bands from Zeta. Clear as day out here. And we are approaching some outer bands from Zeta. That is pretty neat. We're climbing up to 250. I have no idea what approach we're going to do. I don't have any charts. I mean, this is just going to be this is going to be fun. So 19.9 climbing 250. I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign off for now, just because I don't think it's going to be able to remain on for much longer. Maybe if we do a trailing wing shot here, now we can start to see some of that boundary layer out there. Is this the fly-by-wire A320X? Yes, it is. You can't check FPS and microphone. You have to use on-turn GeForce. I do not have GeForce Experience installed. I just always had issues back in the day, so I got rid of that stuff. I know it works. It probably works good now, and a lot of people use it. But back in the day, it was actually causing. I think it was causing my DCS to crash. Back when I had a 570 card or something. Was it 570? Was that a card? and it just would cause issues. So I got rid of it then, never looked back. Max rank, have I looked at the 350 yet? No, I have not. For X-Plane 11, you're probably the 4th person to ask me in 2 days, so I'm going to look into it. There must be something about it that I'm not aware of. Which plane did you fly corporate on? Yes, the 550 Bravo. And a little bit of the CJ1 and 2. But most of my time on the Citation was the 550 Bravo. According to Azobo's new Q&A, turn out some autopilot flight model bugs are related to quirky wind model. Really? So that ought to be interesting as we fly into a hurricane. Flying Guitar says, quite the audience today in chat. Yeah, that seems to be the norm these days. That's all right. 2 Tons of Love says the Flight Factor 320 was recently updated for X-Plane. Sorry, a little bit of lag there. Was recently updated for X-Plane. Do you plan on streaming real-world procedures in the latest version? I will have to take a look, see what they updated. I'm not aware of a new update from Flight Factor. But yeah, of course, man. We'll do it. How does auto science and strobe work? So auto strobe is, if you have it in auto position with weight on wheels on the ground, it'll be off unless your aircraft speed is above 70 knots, maybe 60 knots. These are all check right questions I need to get up. It's between 60 and 80 knots it comes on. As far as the signs being in auto mode, if they're in auto mode, when you track the gear, the emergency exit lights in the cabin will turn off, allowing them to recharge on their battery packs. When the gear comes down, the emergency exit signs in the cabin will turn on. So most of the time, we keep ours on an auto. Now there's a couple different configurations from Airbus that you can get for your cabin signs. You can actually have an electronic devices sign up there. You can get rid of the no smoking to electronic devices, and you can have a configuration which is on and off, and you can have a configuration with on and auto, and then you can have a configuration with on, off, and auto. So it's always fun when you get into an airplane that has 3 positions and you're used to one, you're just flying one for 2 days that had the 2 position switch, and you're like, what the heck's going on here? So just little things like that. What's your favorite Airbus plane? Ooh, I've been asked that a couple times. I really like flying the 319. I think it's a lot of fun. It's the sportier of the 3 airplanes. But if I had to go flying if I just knew it was just going to be turbulent day out there, I want a 321. The 321 just being heavier, same wing, same exact wing, different flaps, but same wing on the 319, 320, and 321. A lot of people think that's actually a larger wing. It's not. But 321 being heavier, it just beats back on that turbulence a little bit. So if I know it's a choppy day, summertime, hot, 321. But if I got to be dodging storms and going into small airports, put me in a 319. It'll ride a little bit rougher, but you'll be all right. Okay, so why is this solid? It's a solid red. I'm hoping that's just, is that not ground return? It doesn't look like it's a ground return. Does the tilt even work on this thing? In op, in op, in op, in op. Weather and turbulence. I'm gonna need some in-ops in chat, because we got a lot of in-ops, and that's not terrain out there. I know that. We're over the Gulf, so that is a sight to be. That's pretty interesting to see that. Can you show the cockpit? You got it, man. We're in the cockpit now. Let me back away here. I like to do the jump seat view. There we go. Flying into Zeta. It is just a lot of clouds out there right now. The lighting in this game is truly breathtaking. I agree, man. The lighting in this game really just makes everything look so good. It's mind-boggling at times. Why do you think more U.S. carriers have been slow to adapt to the Neo? I think Spirit, Frontier operate them. Spirit, Frontier, Americans got them. JetBlue. So it's like with anything, man. just engines. They want to make sure the engines are working. They want to make sure, I mean, look at the Neo, or yeah, the Pratt & Whitney engines on the Neo, just causing issues for everybody. The 220 causing issues for people. So it's always, you're always going to be a little hesitant to be a launch customer for some new technology. According to that weather radar, you'd be flying through hell. Yeah, it sure looks like it. It's now turning purple there on the backside. This is going to be interesting. We do need to actually think of an ILS approach here. I didn't plan an ILS approach in the flight plan. That's not good. I can hear the wind. 62 knot quartering tailwind. Let's go outside for a little bit. Oh boy, 62 knot tailwind. I can hear that wind blowing already.
Subscriber ahead.
Yeah.
Look up.
The live pilot says I'm pretty sure that that shows clouds on the weather radar. I think it's a bug. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's clouds too. We'll see what happens. Thank you for the subscribe there, E-Tops and Par Free RT. Appreciate it, man. Why is it written ETE and not ETA? Estimated time of arrival and estimated time en route. So we are, what is it? Estimated time en route. What do you think about the whole MAX thing? Looks like it's coming back real soon. It sure does. Hey man, if it's safe, it's safe. But the problem is going to be getting the flying public back on them, I think. But here's the thing: if you have an option to fly the MAX, or they're going to charge you $150 to change your ticket to not a MAX, most people are probably going to start sitting with the MAX. It'll be interesting to see, though. I'm anxiously waiting to see how they're going to, how it's gonna fix itself. If people are going to just go right on it without questions being asked, or because everybody talks and goes, "Oh, I'm never going to get on that airplane." Yeah, if it's a $50 ticket, you will. Miss Jungle says the like button is COVID-free. Go ahead and give it some love, guys. I appreciate that. That's right. If you do like this channel, if you like this content, hit that like button for me. It does help with the channel.
Look,
helps with YouTube algorithms. I really appreciate it. It is COVID-free. Thank you, Simon Harvey and LFC Lever for the subscribe. Appreciate it.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
That solid line of showers ahead of you is on the NWS radar over I-45. I feel like I can hear thunder in the background too a little bit. So I need to see exactly where LCH Voodoo. Do we have an altitude restriction at Voodoo? We do not. So if I load an approach, is it going to jack up everything here? First off, let me check my phone weather to see the winds right now, even though it's probably not the same as FS 2020, but I don't have an ACARS working here, so METAR, KMSY, what runway are we going to be landing? Because that is definitely going to be something we want to look at. Right now, winds are 110 at 8, so we'll probably do the ILS 11. Wow, the TAF, the real world TAF, is calling for 1 mile heavy rain showers, mist, thunderstorms, gusts to 75 knots.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
Wow,
up.
that's what the TAF, the real world TAF, is calling for. This ought to be an interesting approach. So we're going to load in the ILS 11, and
Subscriber
we're going to do
ahead.
the LCH.
Look up.
Erase that. Arrival, ILS 11, LCH transition, insert. Now we need to zoom in here. We'll go to plan mode. I gotta turn the weather radar off so I can actually see what's going on here in the little box. Audad makes you come way out. What's up with that? So TBD, we don't need TBD. We're gonna get rid of TBD. Delete TBD. Sorry for the seizure there on the overhead. Why won't it let me delete TBD? Okay, won't let me delete TBD. Okay, well, we'll just roll with it then. After Addad, we'll go direct turtle. But we're still a good little ways out. So we should be alright. Put the weather radar back on. Eesh. Man. At least we're not covered in ice. If we were covered in ice, that would be an issue. Dougal McTavish said, I saw a report that quoted over 50% of travelers have no idea what aircraft they are on. Not sure I believe it. Yeah, that's, you know, honestly, I wouldn't disbelieve that. You know, a lot of people really have no idea what they're on. But 50% is a pretty large number. I'm sorry to say, but the MAX disaster happened in countries where the plane maintaining wasn't optimal. So I don't know if it was the maintenance on the aircraft. I know there was some issues where there was reported and they didn't do anything about it. Pitch behavior. I don't really talk about, you know, unless I'm doing a dedicated video and we look at the actual evidence. I try not to throw my opinions on air disasters, especially ones that result in loss of life, because it's a very slippery slope when you start talking about things. And if you're not there, you know, there's a lot that can be missed, and that's why you really got to look at the facts, got to look at the black box, got to look at the CDR to really understand what happened. Wow, a little bit of lightning down there. That was cool, or kind of scary actually, but yeah, there's a lot to it. The way it was handled was pretty atrocious, though. It actually is kind of maddening the way it was handled. So, by Boeing's part, anyway. That's all I'll say about that. Andre Henry, what's up, man? He says, I was on a regional flight from MLI to O'Hare. Gosh, a month ago, and we flew around severe thunderstorms at 50,000 feet. Final into O'Hare was so bad, guys two next to me threw up. Oh my gosh. Well, you want a CRJ or a 145 going in from MLI, man? Jeez. Yeah, about a month ago, what's that? That's August, September, yeah.
Subscriber.
Normally, in a non-COVID, thank you for the subscribe there, Flying Plastic, on a non-COVID year, that August, September month is when I typically take some time off, because I'm so tired of being beat up all summer long, and you start interjecting some of that moisture from the Gulf Coast as we get into fall, the thunderstorms and the weather just becomes insane, and you just get beat down from flying it. So this year, you know, silver lining on COVID, you know, got to get a full recharge. So we hit 2021 in January, fully recharged, ready to go. But it can definitely be draining, man. You fly it, you know, day in and day out over the summer, dodging thunderstorms. It's just like, come on. And then it really turns on in August, September. As a pilot, do you have to do anything to avoid a lightning strike? We try not to fly in clouds that have lightning. But sometimes you can't help it. Now, I've been hit a couple times. For the most part, knock on wood, it's a non-event. Sometimes you'll blow a little hole out of the airplane frame there, the static discharge, but these airplanes are designed and built to handle a lightning strike. That's why we have static wicks. Now, as you understand weather more and more, there are, you know, you can kind of ID where there are spots along your flight where you're more likely to be struck by lightning. And I should say maybe by looking out the window, because if you're coming in, you know, over an overhang, you have a big towering cumulus, and it's got an overhang, you can kind of, you know, you're going to be in a danger zone. So we try to give all thunderstorms 50 miles, you know, as we skirt around them. Sometimes it's unavoidable though, and you just gotta hope you don't get in it. I've been in thunderstorms where it's so bad that you have to turn the floodlight on, because it hurts your eyes at night. It just constant flashes. It's like being in a dance club or something, and the lights are flashing. It makes it hard, straining on your eyes. So we actually turn on the storm lights or the cockpit floodlights to help get your eyes adjusted. But it should be a non-event if you get struck. These airplanes are designed for it. But yeah, we try to avoid it when possible. What's the weirdest thing that has happened to me on one of my flights? Yeah, that's a tough one. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about that. I tried to book based on the aircraft, says Golden State Aviation. Yeah, I used to do that when I was a little kid, man. I used to tell my mom, like, hey, I want to go on this airplane. Look at this one little cloud. One little cloud sticking up above all the rest, and it's got its own shadow. That's pretty cool. How would you rate the clouds in Flight Sim 2020? Honestly, I love the volumetric clouds. I think they're really nice. And for being default, I think they're really good. They probably could be worked on. There's always room for improvement. Sometimes they look like mashed potatoes. But there's limitations with any sim, you know. I think they're pretty good, though. Andre, yeah, it was 145. Man, I feel bad for you. What's my funniest flight attendant story? Funniest flight attendant. Well, back in the day, so we're just making sure we are still okay up here. We're looking good. Is our mileage counting on 430? I don't think that's right. 150. Once we get up here a little bit further, we're going to start prepping for a descent. So, back in the day, we used to play a lot of jokes on flight attendants. Now you really got to be careful because you can inadvertently trigger a call to HR. There's a lot of things that can happen nowadays, so those days are pretty much over with. But one of my funniest stories was when I was a regional FO. I was still new to the whole airline thing, and we had a brand new flight attendant on board. She was doing the lead flight attendant, and back on the Embraer, you stayed together as a crew. So you were with each other. If it's a 4-day trip, you're with each other for 4 days, and you did the same flights day in, day out. Go to the same hotel on the van, so you spend a lot of time. It's kind of like a little family that you are with. That's one thing I do miss about getting out of a regional level into the major airlines because of time limitations and scheduling limitations. You really don't stick with your crews. You just kind of get pieced around. You'll stick with your FO or your captain, whatever, but your flight attendants will not be part of your crew most likely. So, brand new, captain had a habit of playing jokes on flight attendants, and he's like, hey man, I bet you we can get this flight attendant to think that we really need to do an air sample test. And I was like, what the heck is an air sample test? He's like, well, you tell them to take a barf bag and they got to run through the cabin, capture air, and then seal it up so we can do an air sample test up here. I thought it was pretty fun. I was like, there's no way that this is going to work. Sure enough, though, we're up at cruise. She comes into the cockpit, and he is the most convincing guy I think I ever flown with. He totally convinced this flight attendant. He's like, hey, here's a bag. We need to do an air quality check for the packs. So I need you to run down the cabin and try to capture some air in here, and then just close up this bag and bring it back to us. Then we can do a pneumatic air cycle kit test, the quality of the air. She's like, really? Are you serious? And he looked at me. I was like, yeah, it's it's in our book. We got to do it every month or so. I was just like, okay. So sure enough, man, flight attendant took the bag, ran down the aisle, sealed it up. We were dying. I mean, it was pretty hilarious. She obviously came back to the cockpit, saw that we were pretty much crying from laughing, and was like, that's not funny. But she took it like a champ. She was, she laughed it off after. I was like, wow. And that's pretty much, that one stuck with me. That was a good memory. I think that's a pretty common trick. At least it used to be back in the day. I don't know if, like I said, nowadays, it's all business for the most part. And back in the day when people weren't so sensitive, man, you could really have some fun. But yeah, that's one of my good flight attendant stories. Air sample test. So, and I mean, it may not seem as funny just me telling it, but I'm telling you, when you're up there in the cockpit and you see this flight attendant run down the aisle with the little barf bag open trying to capture air, it's pretty funny. So, God, I hope she's not listening to this stream. All right, let's take a look, see where we are. LFT. It's at Lufton. I can't even see the altitudes because the radar is so red. So 19, we're gonna descend of 1900. Since I don't really have all my charts lined up for this, we're gonna start coming down early. I'm gonna go here, then I'm gonna set vertical speed 1,800 feet a minute. Let's just see where we are. So we're about 120 miles. Oh yeah, we're looking all good. So I want to do a vertical descent. We'll do 1,800 feet. We'll descend down to flight level 1900 for traffic. Put us right into the teeth of this storm here. That'll be fun. Dougal says that's mean. Hey man, it was a little mean. I'm not gonna lie. There's some other ones that you would think were a hell of a lot more mean than that. So if you're not already, join the channel, become a member. I'll probably tell some more flight attendant stories on the podcast. At the end of every podcast, I do a cockpit confessional where I tell either a funny story or a serious story, something that's happened to me throughout my career. And I always save that for the end of the podcast, the little cockpit confessional portion. So that's on the podcast series, V1 After Dark. Got to be a member of the channel. But that's actually a good idea to incorporate some flight attendant stories in there. Most of the stories I've told so far have been about me, things that have happened to me. We did have a flight attendant story about blowing a slide recently, but yeah, so that's good stuff. Good stuff. Look at these clouds, man. This is actually starting to get. I'm actually starting to get a little bit nervous looking at these clouds because they're changing from just those scattered rain clouds to pretty dark, ominous-looking clouds. Now they do look a little fuzzy on my screen. I don't know what it looks like on the 720p. I think that's just an FS 2020 limitation, because I am running high-end graphics on my side, and it still looks a little pixelated, but hopefully it's coming through the stream all right. Mike Smith says she hates you forever. She probably does. B Cam says, oh my god, bro, they did the same prank to me. I work in a prison, so they had me running around the tier with a bag 6 years ago. Oh, that's awesome, man. Jeff says the captain tried to pull this on me when I was a brand new flight attendant. I told him, okay, I'll take his seat while he ran around the cabin catching air. See, so obviously flight attendants got a little smarter, got a little wise to the tricks. One other thing I'll say is you never, and you know, now, nowadays really not much happens, but back then you would really, it was fair game for everybody, right? But if you pissed off or you made fun of the wrong flight attendant, you better make sure you don't take any drinks from that flight attendant, because the old Visine trick, put a little Visine, yeah, you want a Coke and ice for a cruise? Here, they'll give you your drink, give you a little Visine, and if you guys know what I'm talking about, you'll be going back to the lab for the duration of the flight. So you got to be careful. It's fair game for the pilots up front too. So yeah, there's I got another good story I'm going to say for the podcast actually about the ACARS printer. I'll probably save that one next. But yeah, good times, man. Good times. Where do I find the podcast? Bravo Tango Sierra. So since you're a member of the channel, if you go to playlists, just go to the main YouTube page, V1 Simulations, and go to playlists and look for V1 After Dark. That is where you'll find all of the podcasts. So the way the podcasts are lined up is in the beginning of the podcast, I do Airbus versus Boeing, where I do one good thing about Boeing, one good thing about Airbus. And then I talk about state of bus, which up until now have really been explained. I talked about new things happening to the flight factor or the tollless Airbuses. And then, so that's the only section that really would probably be outdated if you're not an X-Plane fan. You can just skip the state of bus. But then I go into a safety tip of the day for all my current members. I answer questions. If you're a commercial pilot, I answer your questions that you post on the community tab. So I do a special post for commercial members only that they can write questions to me, and then I take them and answer them during the podcast. And then I do the cockpit confessional, and that's where I tell a little story about something that's happened to me in my career. So yeah, under playlist and look for the V1 After Dark. Miss Jungle says, I asked my assistant to go and ask a local garage if we could borrow a long wait. What? I asked my assistant to go and ask a local garage if we could borrow a long wait. Andy Miller says, I think I've seen lightning. Yeah, I'm seeing lightning all around, man. Danny Z says, hey bro, you're awesome. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. You're awesome, man. Robert Tango says, thank you. We'll get to the podcast thing tonight. Awesome, man. Wow, you're going a little bit faster. Overspeeding? I do not believe I'm overspeeding. The speed in the upper left corner will be ground speed, so we're actually going pretty slow. I think, are we in approach phase already? I don't know why we've slowed way down. We're going to go ahead and increase speed. We don't need to slow down that much. Alright, let's go ahead and drop it down to 14,000. Gosh. I'm going to need to get an little USB MCP thing because having to touch these knobs is really... The manipulators are really awkward in that FS 2020. Why can't I descend? Come on, let's go. Alright, you don't want to go down? I'll do it this way. Critical speed, down to 14,000. That is a pretty scary sight up ahead there. Miss Jungle says she was there a long time. No such thing as a long wait. You got me, man. Got me, Miss Jungles. Alright, touche. Danny Z says, I just found you. We'll be here every stream. Awesome, man. Glad you found the channel. Welcome on board, my friend. Hopefully we'll have a channel to return to after this storm. I don't know why it's got me going down there doing that TBD thing, but it is what it is. Current ATIS. Can I at least listen to New Orleans? Are we nearest airport list? Farther from you. Farther from you. Farther from you. It should be about 140 miles, so when does it pop up on the farther from you list? 150 miles? Hawthorne. Alright, well here we go. What is our outside air temp? It is plus 18. So here we go. Turn up some of these lights here. Ladies and gentlemen, as we just prepare for our descent in New Orleans, we do ask that you fasten your seatbelts extremely tight, because we have no idea what we're flying into. Godspeed. Here we go. See lightning flashes and everything. Captain says, remember the like button, folks. COVID free. Thank you, appreciate it. I think you should hit that like button just for that flight attendant catching the air. Don't even do it for me. Just hit the like button for that poor flight attendant that ran down the cabin trying to collect an air sample. Do it for her. Wow, look how dark it is down there. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, man? I'm getting kind of nervous. Berto says, I hear the thunder pretty clear. Me too, man. There you go. Starting to enter the tops of the clouds now. Wings are starting to flex. Oh, baby. I sure hope you don't have to argue as much with the autopilot and flight plan in real life as UFS 20. Nah, man. It's much simpler in real life, actually. You started calling the phone ATIS for airports, food bar? Alright. I do need to get us a current altimeter setting. Look at the dark. See, this is where the lighting blows me away. Right here. Look at this. Look at bright on top, dark in the middle. This is a scary sight. I mean, this is pretty darn good. This is what's bringing me back to FS 2020 day in and day out. I mean, this is awesome looking. The last altimeter for New Orleans. 29er69er.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
29er69er. I never set standard either.
Subscriber
29er69er was the last thing set. Let's get our LS push buttons on. I'm going to keep the aircraft semi-programmed
Subscriber
for
ahead. Look up.
a Cat 3 auto land here. So I'm not going to put in a DH, 29er69er. It's in QNH though, right? It goes to 30. How do I change that to not be QNH? How do I to change that. Default's 30. 110 at 18. Temperature right now is 27, so it's warm. We shouldn't have to be worrying about ice. And I don't think you can put no in here. It doesn't allow you, right? Right, so it just automatically populates a no DH. So if you look here, we've got no DH set. That is what we're looking for here for basically a Cat 3. I don't even think a New Orleans can do a Cat 3. Let's go ahead and change that. Let's make it 200 DH, because I don't know the MDA minimums. We're going to put a 200 in the DH. Transition altitude is 18,000. We're well below that already. Just wait for the sim to be polished, man. Yeah, I know. When this thing gets polished out, it's going to be hard to do anything else. We're going to send now to 10,000, and we are starting to get rocked. We are 120 miles out. Look at our vertical speed. We're climbing now. Oh boy. Oh man. This is some serious weather. Is that the eye? Surely that's not the eye of the hurricane over there, is it? The wind is shifting around on us pretty good. We'll keep it here in this wing view. Oh man. Oh, leave out the dot. Oh, look at that shot. Screenshot. Windows print screen. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at that. This is what Flight Sim should be about right here. 2-9er, 6-9er. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. That lighting though is the most realistic. That is the most realistic thing I've ever seen on the Flight Sim right now. Print screen. That is cool. Do you always stream around these hours? Not really, man. I've kind of been flip-flopping. I've been doing some earlier streams, 10 a.m. Then I like to stream in the afternoon, late afternoon, but honestly, I stream around my child because she's 14 months now or something, pretty close to it. So I just stream around her nap schedule most of the time. It's too late to get off now, Miss Jungles. You're absolutely right, man. Blue Mac made it to the stream, dude, just in time for for the most exciting part, because we are in between layers now of Hurricane Zeta, and there is a plethora of lightning. Time to get the parachutes located under the first seat. Yep. Eye directly to my right in the empty area. I mean, this... Holy crap, guys. Oh, did you hear that thunder? Are you frickin' kidding me? Are you kidding me? We don't need parachutes where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be alright. I don't know, after seeing those lightning bolts.
Ahead. Look up.
Man. Congrats on my child. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the subscribe, Sarah. Maybe she brought a brown bag and extra seatbelt for this ride. Oh, yeah. When are you landing? We should be on the ground here in about 20 minutes, man. We're in between layers of Hurricane Zeta right now. The thunder is very thunderous. Mine is 16 months old. What a life. There you go, man. Awesome, Ian. Yeah, she's 14? Yeah, I think she's 14, so. 14 or 15. Pretty darn close to each other. That's cool. Expect some minor turbulence. I mean, I'm actually surprised at how calm the turbulence is. Now, I don't know if it really is not very turbulent. I can't imagine that it's not, but We're at 10,000 feet, 300 knots. Things are looking good. We are about 80 miles from Addad. Addad at 8,000, and then I'll just let it do this turn. It looks like it wants to go towards that big solid red and magenta thing. We'll just let it do it. And since it's not too turbulent, I'm going to go ahead and bump the speed up. So
ahead, look
at
up.
10,000 or below, 250 knots is your turbulent speed there. And then when you're up in the Machs, that's 7.8, depending on your weight. 7.8, 7.7, 7.6 is what you want to be cruising at for turbulence. But it honestly doesn't seem to be that rough right now, so we're going to go ahead and bump it up to 340 knots. Hopefully we don't rip the wings off. I would imagine it's going to be a hard landing. The landing will be interesting because 1-1 isn't... 1-1's that north-south runway, isn't it? Let's see, or not north-south, but 2-9... Which runway is 1-1? I need to look at an airport layout. I think 1-1 is the short runway, isn't it? Pretty sure. Well, we'll find out when we break out. Dougal says, my little girl is now 34 years old. Where the hell did those years go, man? Dude, that's what everybody tells me. Is like it just goes by fast, and it really does, man. It really goes by quick. Oh, just in time for that lightning strike. That was a cool shot. Robin H says, these clouds are absolutely crazy. I hope X-Plane will implement a new weather engine in the future. Me too, man. This is, I mean, look at this. And the thing is, they're not all the same either. You know, we're seeing different variations. It's not just like you have 10 different cloud formations and they just recycle them all. They all seem to be kind of unique. Like, when's the last time we went by a cloud that looked like that? Good thing there's not a lot of terrain down here. That kind of looks nasty over there. That's solid over there. I think that might be where that solid red is on the radar. Man. Surely it should be more turbulent. It should, and don't call me Shirley.
Subscriber ahead, look up.
Thank you for the subscribe there, Don Champion. Appreciate it, man. Let's go ahead and see. We're getting pretty close to making some type of turn, but I guess not. We're still looking good. I got us down a little early, mostly because I wanted to get in some of this nasty stuff. We'll let it rock. 801 Alpha Alpha, huh? I think I messed up on the tail number. That looks like an American tail number. My spirit thought American. Oh, 1-1 is the long runway. Okay, good. Good. Ferris has just hit the like button. It was the 200. Perfect, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Blockbuster says, greetings from Switzerland. Keep up the good work. I love watching your streams. Thank you, Blockbuster. I appreciate it, man. Jackson says, what's good? Had to leave to eat, but I'm back when I missed. You didn't miss much, man. We are in between layers right now of the Hurricane. Actually, a nice little ride right here in between layers. So this looks to be pretty nasty over here. We're starting to get some little shuddery here on the wings. We're starting to flex a little bit. Up until now, it's been pretty smooth, but we are 10,000 feet. The airplane wants to do this southern deviation to come around and join the localizer, which I wasn't going to let it do, but it looks like it's going to bring us right into some more nasty weather, so I'm going to let it do it. We're going to come right, go into this nasty stuff. And we're going to try to put this puppy down. I probably should have taken more fuel for the go-around, but... Golden State, appreciate it, man. I just want to let you know, good luck. We're all counting on you. Oh man, I love the references. Okay, why are we wing rocking? Just a nice little bank here. That's normal. After that last stream when we were full-blown in an unusual attitude, look at that mess. Yeah, we're definitely going to do this. We're going to go Addad, then we're going to go out here because that looks fun. That looks fun. Not in real life, but it looks fun to do in the sim. So that's all out here. We might need to turn on the storm light. Dome light to bright. Turn those on. We'll turn on all our floodlights. Protect our eyes. Even though it's not dark out. So he's got his range down to 10 miles. I'm going to set the FO range to 20. We are looking good. Should hit 80 knots at some point there. By the way, this isn't a weather radar, it's a cloud radar. Yeah, that's kind of... Is there any sim out there that accurately depicts precipitation? I think it's pretty hard to do, right? Because the way a real weather radar works is on radar returns. Precipitation itself, not just clouds, so... I don't know if that's a limitation of the sim so far, or if there's a, someone will develop something to work around it. I thought X-Plane did a decent job with the radar, weather radar. Maybe I'm mistaken though. That storm looks fun is not what you want to hear in your real life captain saying. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we got about a Category 2 hurricane at our 2 o'clock and 30 miles. We're going to go ahead and turn right and go directly into that storm off our 2 o'clock there just to see what it's like. So go ahead and buckle up those seatbelts and sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. DH6300 First Officer. What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Not lucky enough to fly the PC-12 yet. DH6, the twatter, man. Twatter's a good bird. I jumped out of a twatter. I jumped out of a twatter a couple times. I really hope you land before the Champions League starts. Uh-oh. If anyone can do it, Microsoft can, says the live pilot. Yeah, I mean, again, this is a brand new sim. Look at that wing starting to flex out there. Probably should slow down. The blue engines are interesting. From what I have seen, I've seen the green on the inside. I don't know, but that's on the Pratts. To my knowledge, Spirit only has...
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Pratt and Whitney. So, I don't know if the CFMs have the blue or not. I don't know. I think United does. But that's on their IAE engines. V1 simulations out of 1920. This is a 20. This is an A320 Neo. Radar used with the Zebo mod is decent, better than the flight factor. Nice. I'd believe that. JT, what's up, man? It says, howdy, sir. How are you liking FS 2020? Haven't really flown it since release because of the airplanes. I'll tell you what, JT, I like it for the GA stuff and the weather and the scenery, not having to download scenery.
Look up.
Just for a stream, the default scenery is pretty good. As far as the airliners go, I totally agree, though. I don't fly anything other than the fly-by-wire mod 320, and it's only just now got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I can have fun flying this 320 around. But as far as the other airplanes go, you're right. What I desire out of a sim is not what everybody desires, right? So it's, if you like them, have fun with them. That's great. But personally, I like to have a more realistic standard that I want to use when I'm doing my desktop simulations. So personally, that's why I don't fly the other airliners around. But that's not everybody. Some people just want to jump in and have fun. And XB72, he said it best. I think it's like there are fun airplanes, and then there are study level airplanes. So some airplanes you just fly around and have fun in, and that's great. All right, how are we doing up here? We're getting ready to make that turn. It's getting darker. It's getting darker. Oh yeah. I wish I could just make that right turn right now, but. Oh, that thunder, man. When you go to the outside view, hearing that thunder is awesome. Jumped as in skydiving? I personally don't see the point in jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. Yeah, Romulus, skydiving, man. I did it. Whoa! Nice little lightning strike there. Streamlabs, you've subscribed. Max, you've subscribed to the channel. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Welcome to the channel, bro. I can't wait for the 787 to be playable in the sim and do long haul with that beauty. Yeah, a nice long haul airplane would be pretty fun because you just let it go. You don't have to worry about updating weather. It's all going to be live weather, good scenery all the way across. You don't have to download terabytes of ortho. Seatbelt signs on. Enjoy the ride, everyone. Toga, you got it, man. It's about to get a little sporty, I think, over there. It looks awfully dark. We used to see the sun. Now we're really not seeing any of the sun. All the advanced technology, I wonder why we don't have automatic altimeters. That's an interesting point, Ferris. Like when you go through 18, automatically switch over. I imagine it's just money. Just money. Go. We're still at 10,000, 14 miles from Addons. We're heading right into that. Can I pick up New Orleans? Louisiana Regional. Oh, that was a bright strike. That actually hurt my eyes. It's pretty good. You know, FS2020 is that sim where if you like wearing sunglasses flying Flight Simulator, you actually might need to wear them in FS2020. Flying into the sun in FS2020, it actually is really bright. Flying Plastic says I'm going to shelf FS2020 until the VR update, as I spend most of the time staring at the instruments. There you go, man. I, unfortunately, am not in the VR game, but I'm sure that sentiment is shared among other VR guys. Black Pleasure says, "What would you fly in real life through weather similar to that?" Okay, well, you wouldn't fly into a hurricane, but there are times when you it's time to be a professional pilot and you need to fly into some weather. Now, that being said, you're not going to be unsafe with the aircraft, but you rely on your experience in the aircraft. You rely on your first officer's experience in the aircraft. You rely on your dispatcher's information. You rely on the controller's information. You have all these pieces of information, right? You put them together, and you use that to make informed decisions on if this is number one, is it a safe option? Is it the correct option? So, yeah, throughout your career as an airline guy, you are going to fly into some weather that you're like, man, this is some pretty nasty stuff. But are there airplanes flying into New Orleans right now? I would probably say no, or if they are, they're probably trying to get in now before the winds really pick up, and they're not going to be going in. But I haven't even looked at FlightAware. Maybe one of you guys will know in the chat that FlightAware right now, maybe they're not flying into New Orleans. So I know at some point they're not even going to be dispatching planes into there. But there'll be times when you just, you get dispatched, weather pops up that you weren't expecting, nobody was expecting it. You don't have the options available because maybe you're limited on fuel. So you have to then rely on all those outside sources of information to make the best informed decision for that flight, for the safety of the flight and the outcome of the flight. Sometimes you got to put the airplane in a little redder. For the most part, we try to avoid that red and purple stuff. Owen says, what's up? I got a quick question about the in-real-life flying. I'm currently getting instrument rating. That was a nice lightning strike. No one has been able to explain RNP approaches. Do you have any simple things to say? RNP are RNAV approaches that are... Well, first of all, you got to be... If you're going for your IR, you got to have RNP training. So an RNP is slightly more advanced than just your regular GPS, RNAV GPS approach. RNP will have vertical guidance, as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't, since you're training in real life, I don't want to just say something that may come off and I'll give you false information. But for the most part, RMP, you're not going to be flying them unless you're trained, your flight crew is trained on RMP, and your aircraft is capable for an RMP approach. And I'm almost positive, maybe you know, and someone in the chat might know too, that I really want to say RMP does come with vertical guidance, whereas a standard RNAV will have vertical guidance, but it's not the same as RMP. I know you also have to be RMP capable. You have to have the equipment to be, the sensitivity limitations on your aircraft receiver have to be RMP capable, which are much more strict than what you would find on like a regular 172 or a Baron, or some of the new King Airs can probably do RMP stuff, but it's also an aircraft equipment limitation. MSY is inactive on Flight Radar 24. Nice. We are on our way to New Orleans, and we're going to go ahead and reduce speed to 250 knots. We'll maintain 10,000. That looks like the wall of a hurricane to me, guys. Holy crap, look at that. That might be the eye wall. That might be the eye wall. I really want to get the actual ATIS. It's got to be in the list right now, right? MSY, here we go. Man, the...
New Orleans Airport information, Mike 2000 Zulu. Wind 112 at 29er. Visibility, tree and heavy rain. Sky condition, few clouds at 900 feet, few clouds at 4,000 feet, few clouds at 12,200 feet. Temperature, 24. Dew point, 10. Altimeter 29er decimal 72. ILS runway 29er in use.
Yeah, we're not going to land 29, sir.
And departing runway 29er. VFR aircraft say direction of flight.
Yeah, we're not going to land 29 with the winds at 110. And it's also, we should probably warm up the cabin just a little bit. I forgot we had these all the way max cold. We don't want to do that. Pretty ominous looking, not gonna lie. Pretty ominous. Let's go ahead and light it up here. The landing lights on. I'll light up the wings here. We'll go back into the cockpit view. These clouds look like the end of Terminator 3. Don't be alarmed, flick out the window and see flying trees. That looks pretty wicked, huh? Should we fly into it? I think we are. Wing light can come on. Oh, man. You know, just for fun, let's just go into the purple for a second. Heading mode 170. Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. Okay, so this is the right side of the airplane. And let me look at the left side. It's just black. We're going to go for just a little spin. We're going to just dip into these clouds here real quick. That lightning strike is nuts. Oh yeah, we need the Scorpions. Rock you like a hurricane, man. Talk about a copyright strike. Definitely need that. Is this a NASA Storm Chaser flight? It is, man. You got to pay the bills over here at Spirit Airlines somehow. Do a little Storm Chaser. We're going to get some wind speeds from the eye wall before we dip into New Orleans with min fuel. Sounds like a good idea. It could be fun. Team Vodka, you hit the nail on the head, man. Spirit Wings 113, turn left, heading 150 for spacing. Hey, Spirit Wings, you want to be a pathfinder for us? We'll fly heading 150 into that magenta radar return. look at the purple glow. Oh, wow. That's crazy, man. This is crazy. That's definitely some type of wall right here. This is some type of wall. Oh man, here the wings start flexing. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're getting bumped around now, folks. Jeez, that lightning is wicked. I'm surprised there's not much rain. It's got to be raining, right? Man, those wings are wiggling. This is some serious. This is some serious stuff, guys. I need to turn the radar off so I can actually see where we're going. We're gonna come back left to heading 140. Wow. Spirit now selling near-death experiences on the cheap. Yeah, that's a good call. Whoever said ignition in chat, hats off to you, sir. We're going to go engine ignition on, but I don't even know if it works. Doesn't seem to work. All right, we need to continue coming back around here. We don't have a ton of gas. We got 4 kilos. I guess we're looking all right. That's a lot of purple out there, guys. That's a lot of purple out there. I mean, that is pretty gnarly looking. That is pretty gnarly. That plane is shaking, guys. It is shaking. Airbus wings don't flex all that much, so when you see this type of movement out here, you can bet yourself that they are indeed in some rough air. All right, let's get us focused turning back around here because it looks like that magenta is approaching the field. Here's our field 1-1, so we need to come back around, basically head direct turtle. So I'm going to take a 030 on the heading. Fuel is 4.4. Will the ignition come on if I turn the anti-ice on? No. So we really don't need anti-ice at all because it's plus 21. So I'm actually going to save the performance of the airplane. So 020 is pretty much a direct turtle heading. Yeah, we are in the hurricane now, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa! Did you see that airplane? It almost rocked. Okay, well, doing good. Yeah, autopilot's still on. Can we set this puppy up direct turtle? Direct to turtle. Insert. Nav. I don't know why it's doing all this crazy stuff back here, but we are direct turtle. Check right corner. We're showing direct turtle. We're at 10,000 feet, 250 knots. We do need to get down. Let's go ahead and step it down to 8,000. Open descent. Yeah, we got a nice little rock there. I thought it was going to disengage the autopilot. I've actually been in turbulence, so the turbulence can get so severe that the autopilot will disengage. That's happened to me a couple times. and you really need to be in some turbulence for it to disengage. And I think that rock that we saw there on the outside, that probably would have disengaged it. Last time it disengaged on me, I think it was the LaGuardia. We're flying on LaGuardia. Those approach controllers, man, put us right between two cells and boom, just rocked the wings, 40-degree bank. Autopilot couldn't keep it. XP72, what's up, man? Says I can hear the passengers crying. Yeah, they'd be screaming for sure, man. They would be screaming for sure. Starting to get a little bit of rain now. I just think this is the best wing view here with the cabin. Look at the raindrops rushing by. Maybe this was a mistake. Well, I hope we can get on the ground before the red hits the runway, or the magenta hits the runway. Hopefully we'll be down in time. I really wish we can do a replay on this. It was at this moment that V1 realized picking up a standby flight was a bad idea. The wing looks like it's about to snap. It's moving out there, guys. It's moving. I mean, we are in some thick stuff right now. All right, let's go ahead and drop it down to 4,000 feet. We have all my floodlights on, minimize the blinding of the eyes. All right, let's go ahead and descend now. Anytime now. Descend, baby, descend. 20 miles from Turtle. Need to cross it at 4,000. We're at 8,000. That's 4 miles. 4 times 3 is 12. So 12 miles, 3 degrees. We're looking good. We got 20 miles. So we're plenty ahead of schedule. We're open descent. This thing dives like a rocket. Anything. Look at this. Looks like we're coming out of it. Oh man, look at that. We're coming out of this. Coming out of the wall now. That is crazy cool. I see another airplane up there. That's probably a Hurricane Hunter. That is pretty cool. I mean, come on. That is sick. Screenshot. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have exited Hurricane Zeta. Screenshot. 4,000 feet of Turtle, 5 for 4. This magenta stuff is making its way to the field. 30 knots on the tail right now. 1,000 feet to go. Get ready to put F's in chat when it crashes. Oh no. We're going to put this puppy down, even if we got to gear up and stay on the runway. Loading cheese says I landed in Hong Kong about 10 minutes before a cyclone. The captain did a really great job to keep it smooth. My connecting flight was delayed by 4 hours, so that's how it goes, man. You do all the work to get in on time, and then the connecting flight is screwed. But hey, man, if you can do a smooth landing, it doesn't matter how rough the flight was. That's all the passengers care about. I mean, you can come in, you can get beat up on the approach, and you just get a nice butter on that touchdown. You're a hero. It's when you get beat up on the approach and then you put a dent in the runway that they kind of give you the weird eye as they exit the airplane. All right, there's Turtle. We're at 4,250. Once we're about 10 miles from Turtle, I'm going to start slowing us down. Our ground speed is really high. We're 290 knots. That 30-knot tailwind on our butt. Speed alt, IMSY 109.9 is auto-tune, 200 in the DH. Final approach course is 106 degrees. Altimeter is 29 or 69. We're going to actually do an auto brake. We'll do auto brakes low for now. Actually, screw it. Auto brakes medium. Full flaps, full reverse. Any questions? No questions. Let's get this bird on the ground. If that's the cost of the ticket, I might pick another airline. Picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. The airplane lines are too good, man. Yeah, you can definitely see these wall clouds are getting moving closer to New Orleans right now. I'm actually going to look, what's the real radar look like online? It actually looks pretty darn accurate. When I look at my weather radar, my radar on my cell phone, I'm looking at the actual storm. It doesn't look too inaccurate. What's the worst turbulence you've ever had, and do you fly international? I do fly international. Worst turbulence I ever had, though, was over Cleveland, Ohio. Embraer 170. I don't know if I put it on the podcast. I might have. Maybe I haven't yet. It's one of the stories I'm going to tell on the podcast, but it was definitely one of my first encounters with severe turbulence. Loss of control. Momentary losses of control of the airplane. I mean, it was that bad. Autopilot clicked off, and the worst part about it is the loss of control was in the vertical. Like, we could not go down. You know, we were going up, and there was nothing we could do about it. Autopilots came off. It was bad. All right, I totally forgot to slow down because I got to chatting, so we're going to come all the way back to 180 knots on the approach mode. Glide slope star, low star, we just caught it. We caught everything there. This ought to be interesting to see how the airplane handles it. I feel like we're coming in hot already, so I'm going to drop the gear at 250. Add a sequence, gear down. So I know the golden approach rule, but we're going to do it out of sequence to help us slow down here. Okay, we went back to open climb nav. We don't want to do that. What are you doing? 3,000. Open descent, please.
Subscriber ahead. Look
This thing
up.
lost its mind here. Mudbug, I can't even see what Mudbug is. 2,000. Mudbug is at 2,000. Listen to that gear noise. That's actually really accurate. VFE next -1, flaps 1. Things are happening faster. We got glide slope blue, low blue, so the approach is armed. It's slightly below us. We need to get down, guys. We need to get down. Why do you keep going into nav mode? Dial it back. I know 130 is too low. VFE next -10, flaps 2. What's our VAP speed? We're going to activate confirm VAP 147. I'm going to actually do 155. No, I'm going to do 150 for now. Flaps 3.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Lightning flashing all around the airplane. Why are we leveling? I do not want to level here. Down. Down, boy! Don't make me turn the autopilot off. I'm gonna have to turn the autopilot off. Here we go. Alright, when in doubt, fly the airplane. I wanted to look around a little bit more, but we need to get her on the ground. Autopilot's coming off. Flight director's off. We need to get down to 2,000, 150 knots. Flaps full. Mudbug is at 2,000. Whoa, a little bit of a wind shift there. So I got my localizer. Still full scale deflection there, but I'm trying to come in at Mudbug. Catching up to that glide slope. Since this is full-blown instrument approach, I'm going to lower the nose a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. Cross Mudbug at 2,000. I know it's hard to see on that screen because the radar is so bright. Alright, here comes our localizer. Not going to pay attention to the chat right now, guys. I do apologize, but I do want to get this puppy down. We do have a purple cell right over the field. That's always good.
2,500. Subscriber
One approach
ahead.
I do not want to be
Look
unstable
up.
on is the one where we fly into Hurricane Zeta, and I'm already borderline unstable on this. Alright, here comes our loc and our slope. We're looking good. Speed 150 is set. Gears down. Flaps full. Auto thrust is off. ECAM memo is not up yet. Why is ECAM memo not up yet? It should be landing on green. Another 10 feet. There we go. Oh, we got to arm the spoilers. Cabin sign's blue. We don't have time to press the button. Landing checklist complete. Let's get on the lope now. We're on the glide slope. Things are looking good. I wonder what the ceiling is. Probably would have been smart to check that out. Wind just died off there. 8 knots now, so I'm going to come back to the right. Good on the slope. Doing little S-turns here on final. That's probably the bourbon. Man, this is... my instrument flying skills pretty ugly. half knot low, that's where you really start getting, that's where I'd be slapping that first officer, be like, get on the damn glide slope, man. I know this plane likes to just sink for some reason at 500 feet. Just likes to drop out. I got approach lights. So the proper call at approach lights is continue. Then you can go down to 100 feet above the touchdown zone. I still don't have the runway environment. I just have the approach lights. Now I have the runway environment in sight. Landing. We are clear to land. I'm going to back the camera out a little bit. I can see the Pappies now in visual with the runway. Wow, this airport is about to be engulfed. Get ready for that wing drop there on the left side. Correcting.
200.
I seem to like those 3 reds. That's alright. There we go.
100.
Alright, don't do that. Don't do that Airbus thing on there when you drop that wing.
40, 20.
Oh, lightning strike on the tower and the flare.
5.
Oh, yeah, that's a butter, man. Ladies and gentlemen, whoo! Really wish we had a replay mode on that, huh? Welcome to New Orleans. Let's clean it up. Let's get her in here. Landing lights come off, strobe lights come off. And the terminal, the old terminal is over here, so I guess we're going to the old terminal. Get the APU cranking. Ooh, yeah. Here we are. Oh. Thunder and lightning is crazy, man. I really would have liked to see the landing rate on that. That felt juicy. Buttered the popcorn with all the lightning and such. See? All that rough air that we just flew through, the passengers don't even care about anymore because we just buttered the landing. Literally, that's it. If you butter the landing, you're good to go. You could pretty much go inverted and butter the landing and they'll think you're the savior. Ooh, yeah. I feel like we should start the sail music now. Dean Michael says, what a fun ride. Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Lightning at perfect timing. I know I'm going to have to watch the replay. Or I'll just have to rewind the stream and see right there on touchdown, man. It almost looked like we had a lightning strike at the tower as we were coming into touchdown. I'm going to go over here to Terminal 2. I know this is a service road. We're just going to take the service road. Fire up the Yahoo. Yes, sir, Bob. Man, I really wish we had a replay, you know? That's alright. We're going to cheat mode it here into the gate. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I don't know what lines I'm following. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. It should look like that. Yes, we're right on the line like a boss. A little bit further. Brake set. Turn the rudder off. That should have been off on touchdown there so you don't fry the guys at the terminal. Engine 2. I think we're still waiting for it to spool up. Stand by on engine 1. You always want to wait for that. No electric page yet. APU page. Come on. Give me APU power. Good old terminal. That's right. The new terminal is really nice, man. Come on. Slow APU. APU is available. Engine 1. I guess I have to turn that crank switch off. APU bleed, beacon light. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Orleans. I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Mod sponsors, donors, thank you so much, man. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me on the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel monetarily, with likes, with just hanging out and chatting with us all. I appreciate every single one of you. This was a fun little flight coming in here with the old... Oh, look at that Neo going off. Is he on the runway or on the taxiway? I think it's on the runway. Cool deal. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me this afternoon. Have some fun flying Hurricane Zeta. Until next time, you stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!